What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Nick.
My name's Nathan.
And this is Full Throttle Cars. Today, we're going to be reviewing this 2022 Ford Bronco. So with that said, let's jump right into it. Alright guys, so first off, let's take a look at the outside. This is one of my favorite colors I've seen on the Bronco. This is actually the Area 51 color. In the sunlight, it looks more of a blue, but it's like a bluish gray. Especially if you get it in the shade, it kind of turns more of a gray color. But again, a really cool color on here. Then you've got the fender flares in the same paint color. You do have the black on the bumpers and then on the running boards. What would you guys think? Would you like that more black on these sides or body color? To be honest, I kind of like it in this body color.
Alright guys, so just looking at the front here right now, something that immediately meets the eye are these little plastic pieces that come up off of the hood. And what these are, they're actually pretty interesting. You can actually hook a metal cable from here all the way up to the top. I believe right here in this little accessory ready piece, you're just able to top that off. And what that metal cable is for is so whenever you're off-roading and going through, and especially like a jungly, you know, just with a lot of trees and a lot of brush, that prevents sticks from whacking into the windshield and potentially breaking your windshield. They would just slide up and then slide across the top of the vehicle. All right, now just looking straight on at the car, you can tell that this is an off-road vehicle. One, it is a lot more boxy than a lot of other vehicles that you're gonna see on the roadway. Not necessarily in a bad way. I really actually do like the look of the front end of this vehicle. Just taking a look at it, you know, it comes up to right here, right on my chest, and it continues that all the way up onto the hood, and then pretty quickly it goes up just like on the Jeep Wrangler. And then also something that I want to mention when looking at the front of this vehicle are the always on headlights. Whenever this thing is lit up, this whole strip is actually on right here, as well as a couple circles just with parts cut out, and that looks really, really cool whenever you're driving down the road.
Alright guys, so checking out up under the hood of this thing, we've got a 2.3 liter EcoBoost 4-cylinder. On premium fuel, this thing actually makes 300 horsepower. You can run it on regular, that drops it down to about 275, and the torque numbers are 325 and 315 respectively. You can come take a look up under here. There does look like to be a good bit of room under here. There's a lot of cables and cords and pipes going everywhere, but again, you can see down in here, pretty easy access to those belts, I would say. But again, I'm not a mechanic. We've been told before in the comments section, we say, oh, this doesn't look that bad to work on, and we've been told in the comments, yes, it actually is. But I just wanted to mention that, and to me, it looks like it's pretty open inside that engine bay. Alright guys, so this Bronco has the Outer Banks trim, and that's about a mid-tier trim for the Broncos, as it's described on Ford's website as off-roading in style. This is a pretty luxurious version of the Bronco. It's not a luxury car by any means, but this one is optioned with leather seats on the inside, which we will take a look at in a moment. But this does have a lot of safety features as well. You've got some cameras on each of these mirrors right here that goes along with the front camera and the rear camera to give a full 360-degree view of the car, which we can take a look at when we jump inside.
So whenever the door is opened in the Ford Bronco, the screen actually plays a really cool animation. Let's check it out. So you can see that there are a bunch of little rocks that roll along a path, and it actually turns into a Bronco. I just think that's really cool.
Alright guys, so jumping into the driver's seat, you've got the nice Bronco logo right there, and you'll notice there is no Ford logos in here. It's all branded Bronco, which is an interesting thing done by Ford to really emphasize that this is the new Bronco and kind of disassociate it a little bit with other Ford models with that specific Bronco, especially kind of similar to what they do with the Mustang. You're not going to find any Ford logos on a Mustang. It's all going to be the Pony, and here you got the Bronco. But we'll take a look at the gauge cluster up here. It is all digital, actually. So you've got a configurable screen here. You got a lot of gauges there on the right. You've got pressure, which I believe is turbo pressure, boost pressure, which is a really cool thing. We just saw that on the Mustang as well, which also had the EcoBoost engine. You got the oil temperature, then you've got some other temperatures, I assume transmission temperature, and then battery voltage. And then right in the middle, you've got the fuel economy, your current miles per hour, and RPMs. We'll get some of that while we're going. Then we've also got the old school normal speedometer that goes up. You can see it with the arrow. You don't just have to look at the normal number. Alright guys, so right here you can throw up the off-road screen right up here in the gauge cluster, which is really nice. This is a huge screen up here right in front. You don't have to just look at it over here, which you also can have it over here, but you've got it right here. You've got the steering angle right now at 20 degrees. Then you've got your pitch and roll there as well. We'll just cycle through these. Right here you've got back to your pitch and roll. Then you go down to your tire pressure. Then your gauges, which we looked at the first time. Then we go down to the individual gauges. We've got boost pressure, which is a really cool gauge and something I really love seeing on all these new turbo cars. Then we go down here again to oil temperature, transmission temperature, and then battery voltage, and then we go back up to the full off-roading screen. Alright guys, so check this out. On the center screen, when you're looking at your pitch and roll, you've actually got an old Bronco there in the center, which is really cool. Of course, you've got the steering angle there on the same screen as well, but that's just a really neat thing that they put in here. Alright guys, just looking at a couple other gauge cluster screens here, you've got different views you can check out. The trip, fuel, off-road, navigation, phone. A lot of different options here, and then you've got the audio option as well. But a lot of stuff can also be done through this center screen here. I'll actually zoom back out there. I was way zoomed in. But you do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in here. Basically anything you can think of. It looks like we've also got lane keep assist right here. You've got your cruise control speeds here. Then you've got, of course, your phone Bluetooth buttons right here. And then one thing to note, the window switches, which are on the Jeep, are up in this area. However, they are actually down here in the center console area, you can see. Alright guys, so right here we'll check out the different GOAT modes. You got the selector here, which has a very satisfying feel to it. But we can look up here. First we're in normal mode. You've got like a normal looking planet. They've got some pretty cool graphics to it. Let me do that again, there we go. Then we jump over into eco mode, which has like a very green looking planet. And then a really funny, you have it over here into sport mode. And it's got almost like a scorched earth look to it, which is a little bit funny since you have that eco mode with the very green, good for the environment, and then you put it into sport mode. I doubt that's what they're intending, but maybe it is. I just thought it was kind of a funny little thing I wanted to show you. Then from sport mode, you can knock it over into slippery. You got ice and snow. I did not mean to do that. And then if we bump that back over here into mud and ruts, you got another little image there. And then you also have sand mode, and I believe that's actually the last mode in this one. This one only has the 6 modes, but we can go all the way back through and just show you guys all the graphics, which is a really cool touch that they put on here. Alright guys, so we have this really big screen in the center. You can configure it in multiple ways. You've got multiple screens. So on the right, you can show the different things you can go through. You got phone, trips, you've got several sliders, you got your fuel economy, all which have really neat images to them, some pitch and roll information, all your off-roading information, again that really neat old Bronco look. And then you've got your zone lighting, which is really helpful if you're outside at night trying to do some trails. You can light up all around you. Alright guys, so you can also throw up the weather here, which is really interesting. It's a pretty nice day, 80 degrees and sunny here. You can see actually you got like an hourly forecast down here. You can actually get a 5-day forecast as well. Just something interesting that I've actually never seen in a car. Alright guys, so let's jump on the road and get some driving impressions. Alright guys, so we put it into sport mode. We're just going to see what it's like in sport mode. Again, it's not a very sporty car, but we'll get an acceleration here for you guys. actually does have some pretty decent pickup and go to it. Yeah, pretty decent pickup and go, and it's really holding those revs pretty high right now. Like, it's holding it around 3,000 right now, right when I did that. So the engine is kind of, you can definitely hear that in the background. Not a whole lot of wind noise I'm noticing in here. I think it's actually quieter than the Jeep is. So I am actually going to knock this back down over into normal mode. We got a sport, then knock it over twice into normal, just to see the difference between that. I just want to throw it into sport mode to kind of see what it was like on an acceleration. And this does feel like a very big vehicle. Now, it is a big vehicle, and I'm used to small sedans, and now the 350Z, which is even very small. But I have driven the Durango and stuff before a lot, so it does feel pretty similar to that. But especially, I think the boxiness of it kind of makes it feel a little bit bigger. You got the two you can see out front, the two kind of indents up there on the hood on each side that you can see, kind of almost like a marker on where the edge of your car is, but you are way up high here, so it doesn't really do a whole lot for you there. But it's just kind of an interesting thing to see, kind of marks where the edge of your car is, kind of a helpful thing to see. All right, guys, so we're kind of in some twisty-ish roads here. There is a little bit of body roll I'm feeling. I'm not taking these corners all that tight, but I definitely right there feel a little bit of body roll going that way, but it's not that bad. It's probably pretty similar to what a Jeep would be. But again, this is a pretty nice car in here. It drives very smoothly. It turns pretty smoothly. I'm not worried that I really have to crank this or anything. And it's got very light feeling steering as well. You don't really have to give it all that much to get around those corners. So this thing actually does have pretty good pickup and go. Interestingly, when I put it into sport mode, you're hearing all engine noise. I don't hear a lot of turbo, but whenever it's in normal mode, every now and then you do get a little bit of that turbo sound. But this does keep those revs so high, and again, it does have pretty decent acceleration for such a big, boxy vehicle. All right, guys, so I want to show you the boost gauge. You can zoom in there and see that while I accelerate here. Just kind of an interesting feature. Just a little mild acceleration. You can see the RPMs also do a similar type thing. Really neat to see. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review of the 2022 Ford Bronco. It was a great opportunity to get in this thing, take it for a drive, and then compare it to the Jeep. That video will be up in the near future, so stay tuned, turn on that notification bell, and with that said, we'll see you in the next video.
Bye, guys.